Hello.
Here we are. I'm here with Jackie, and we are sitting in a very sweaty position. If you can see the video, we're sweaty. And we're on my back porch, but whenever we put the fan on, you can really hear it. So we're sweating for you all so that the audio sounds good.
It's true.
I can't remember when the last time was that we did this. How long has it been?
I think it was over the summer or in the fall. It was September.
Oh,
Either September or October. I was
been a
in
while then.
California. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yep, we're overdue.
Yeah. So yeah, we're just gonna hang out and catch up on all the things.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have been up to a lot.
Have
You
I?
Yeah, you have, haven't you? You don't identify as somebody who's been up to a lot of
I
things?
mean, I feel like I'm up to a lot of things like every day of my life, but I feel like I've been mostly here. Well,
That's
no,
not true.
that's not true.
Where have you been?
Okay.
How far back do you wanna go?
I know. The two trips I've done lately, I went to California for 2 weeks, to just go see family and let my kids hang out with their cousins and see my sisters, and that was fun. I love the early summer in California. It's so pretty. Everything's so green and the waterfalls are all going in the mountains, and that was fun. And that was my first time. I don't know if you can call it solo traveling because I did have family with me, but mostly solo traveling with my kids. And I was nervous about it because my kids are little, and it was great. We found a little flow, which was like empowering. I spent Mother's Day driving down the 99 freeway, which is like through the Central Valley of California, not the most beautiful place on the planet, like cleaning up barf and like wiping poopy butts and stopping at Black Bear Diner for a little breakfast with my kids. But I was like so stoked. Like it wasn't breakfast in bed, but it was like special. So that was a big trip. And then I also in March went to El Mudo in Mexico, which was epic. Really like epic waves. We scored and really like super stoked about the location. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. I can answer any questions about El Mudo.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
I feel like
Getting to know the spot?
it's back in the day, it was like we would always be on the retreats, and now we have these retreats that neither one of us had been to, and
Yeah.
then it's like when you go and get to, like, experience it yourself and feel the vibe and be like, "Okay, yes, the team is crushing it, like, this
Yeah.
place is awesome," and it feels good. It's like, "Okay, I get this now."
Totally. Totally. Yeah. 10 out of 10 for El Mudo.
Nice.
It was
What
epic.
what did you like best about it?
I really like the venue. It's a Mexican woman-owned boutique hotel. It's small, it's, like, intimate, but very aesthetic. Like, every corner kind of belongs on Instagram, so I feel like it's a perfect fit for Surf with Amigos. It's, like, feels very feminine, and, the waves were awesome. Like, who doesn't love surfing long, point break waves? Especially if you like longboarding, it's a great spot, which I do. And I mean, I just love being in Mexico. The food in Mexico is so good. And I feel like I see why it's a great location for a lot of amigas. You can fly into Zihuatanejo direct from many parts of the world. Like from Canada, Toronto has direct flights to Zihuat, which was surprising. And Zihuatanejo is only 45 minutes from the retreat location. Many, many reasons. Also, the team, Lila, the trip leader, fan favorite. I love hanging out with Lila. She's just a hoot, and Alexia, who's from Mexico. Yeah, I just had a great time hanging with those girls, and I think all the amigas did too, and amigas do over and over again. Like it's just fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. Then I've been here just focusing on longboard house and surfing. The swell season turned on and kind of hasn't stopped. Luckily, it stopped.
Yeah,
Luckily,
I was gonna say,
yeah,
it's like the last week has been pretty small in a good
yeah.
way.
But up until last week, I feel like I was gone for a little bit, but it's been pumping, which has been fun. And we've had so many amigas come to the longboard house that have, it's like their second, third, fourth time. And that's always fun seeing the repeat amigas and kind of keeps us on our toes, making sure to, always provide an epic experience, always get better all the time and keep it fresh and different, which can be hard in the jungle. Um, so yeah, we're here, we're doing it. And you're here now.
Yes.
You're all over the place as usual.
Yeah. Yeah, in my world, we made the tough decision a few months ago to switch to homeschooling, which I think when I first became a mom living in Central America, I was like, yeah, I'm going to homeschool the kids, of course. But like, much respect to any homeschooling mamas out there. Like, it is no joke, so much work. And when I got to the point of like needing to teach Luna how to read, I was just like, I can't do this. Like, she doesn't want to do it. I don't want to do it. It's easy to throw it off. So we did the school thing and bounced around, and school is great. And also now the kids are surfing and they're old enough where they can be a lot more self-directed as far as learning goes. And there's like so much more technology out there too, as like virtual schools and online learning programs and all of that. So we're trying it. We're a few months in, but so far it's going great. And it has allowed us to travel more as a family. I think I got to the point of just being like, oh my gosh, my kids, they're going to be 10 and 12 in a few months. And just realizing how fast it goes. Like, and they're going to be like Luna's a preteen, like they're gonna be teenagers before you know it. And like this is like they're in such a sweet spot right now where they still want to hang out with me, and yet they're like old enough to make themselves breakfast. And they can actually paddle out in the lineup and be on their own to some extent. Like I don't have to be like they're not on my board anymore most of the time. And like most of the time they can do their own thing. They can catch waves, they can go in, they can paddle back out, and I can catch waves. And it's just such a magical time that I wanna be able to spend that time with them. And I'm also so lucky that, like, with the work that we do, that they can be with me. So yeah, that's been the big news lately. So we actually spent the last few weeks traveling around Costa Rica to places I hadn't been. We went to Nosara, we went to Santa Teresa, and yeah, I had been in Nosara once before, but, like, 10 years ago and, like, just for the weekend. So it was cool to explore those places.
Good, kind of segue into some
Yes.
of our other locations in Costa Rica that we are adding. We
Yes.
added for next season.
There's a whole list of them.
There are. But we have a couple in Central Costa Rica that in 2 different parts of Central Costa Rica. Do you wanna talk about the Surf Dojo? Because
Sure.
that's your project?
Yeah, I've been really excited about the Surf Dojo, which is it's really cool. It's actually it started as a nonprofit, and they are all about helping the community, specifically focusing on the kids. And really their top priority is like at-risk youth, so kids that come from very poor families, or maybe, are not in a great family situation regardless of their income level, just like don't have a super safe place at home. And they have like this application process, and they bring these kids in, and they're all ages, and they have an after school program. um it's 6 days a week, and they
A
provide,
lot.
yeah, it's a lot. It's every single day except for Sundays. And on the after school things, they feed them dinner. They do workouts, they do surf skate, and then they also have a therapist that's like actually a sports therapist that works for the Costa Rican Olympic program in various sports. And she actually comes and lives on site 2 weeks out of the month just because she loves the environment, and she loves the kids. And so part of what they're doing is like emotional regulation and learning about, different coping methods. And they actually provide classes for the parents as well, which I just think is so cool because, like, we all know, like, yeah, you can help the kids as much as you want, but like, if you're not also helping their situation at home, it's only going to go so far. So it's a really cool program, and they have this like amazing facility with this huge concrete wave ramp. They have all these surf skates, and they have awesome coaches, and they have a gym and a sauna and an ice bath and a great pool for doing like breathing and apnea training. And we heard about it like friends of friends, and like we're trying to get in there. It's like really hard to get in because they're not trying to like make money from foreigners. They're
Mhm.
trying to help the local kids. So it took me a while to kind of figure out like even like who to talk to, and they're like, oh, we don't have any space in our program right now. And then we were really lucky to be able to like get an invite through a friend And then my partner, John, like, they were trying to raise more money for the nonprofit. They were trying to, like, buy this big airbag so that the kids could, like, do these crazy airs off the ramp into a safe place to land, and he was able to connect them with another nonprofit that had money to give to support initiatives like that, and so through that, then we really got to know them, which was great. And yeah, they're interested in trying, different ways to raise money for the nonprofit. And so I was like, hey, would you ever be willing to host a retreat? And he was like, yeah, I'd be interested in doing it, but they could only do it in times where it wasn't going to interfere with their program, which is just so cool that like the nonprofit comes first.
For
I
sure.
think so many of the other people that we work with, it's amazing if they have a nonprofit, but it's definitely like the for profit business is running the show. And then they also have a nonprofit where they're giving back. And this is like the opposite, which feels good if we're going to connect with someone to be a part of that. So yeah, they only had like, it was like Semana Santa or like Christmas week or like the school break in the North American summer when the waves tend to be like bigger there and not ideal. So we were able to find a week in January where it's a school break, so they don't have kids programs. And it's a good time of year for surfing the waves in that area. And we're going to try it. We're going to do a retreat there. And um, it was hard because it's like, obviously surf skate and training and like breath work is applicable to surfers of all levels. But for this first retreat, we're trying to have like more advanced shortboarders so that we don't have to break up the group by ability level. So we're going to start with that. I know that we've gotten a lot of interest. So if you are not a advanced intermediate shortboarder and this sounds amazing, you can send us an email to get on the wait list, and hopefully it goes well and we do it again, and maybe we'll do an all levels week, or if we don't end up filling it with short borders, then maybe we'll figure out the logistics to be able to break up the group. But
And you want to talk about where it is in Costa Rica?
it is near Jaco, so in Playa Hermosa. So it's a relatively easy travel. You fly into San Jose, and then it's like an hour and a half drive in January. And check it out.
And then shortly after, there's a week off, and then there's another central Costa Rica location,
Yep,
Rainforest Villas.
the new one, it's near, where I have been living in Uvita. It's in Dominicalito. Yeah, and it's like a nice it's all levels from beginner to I've been doing this a long time and I know what I'm doing, but I like to hang out with other women to support me. Um, and both of those are really like focused on beach breaks. And yes, the longboard house is like dreamy, easy, ride the point break forever and paddle out in the channel. But like the reality of most of us probably that live in America is that you're probably dealing with a beach break. So it can be nice to surf a beach break during retreat and practice those skills that you need in order to be successful when you go back home. Because I don't know about you, like you see amigas that come on a retreat and maybe have very little surfing experience and they get the like minute long wave and then paddle back out in the channel. They're like, surfing is so
Yeah,
easy.
yeah, yeah. No, and we have gotten that feedback that people come on our retreat, they completely score, they're getting the sickest waves ever, and then they go home and they're like, "Oh, I know how to do this." Wait, no, I don't, because the waves at home are not going to be nearly as good or user friendly as these waves. So, coming to a retreat where you surf a beach break is a good idea for practicing on the waves that you're going to be surfing back home.
Yeah, learning how to do the things.
Yeah,
They're skills. They're beach break skills.
definitely. Definitely. What else? We have a lot of new locations. Next week is our very first retreat that we've ever done in Spain. That's exciting. It's going to be in Galicia, like on the northwest corner of Spain. Um,
Want
I
to talk about where that came from?
yeah, I wish I was going.
Same,
It
honestly.
looks so awesome. It came from one of our coaches in Playa Grande. Her name's Lucia, who some of you guys may have met. It's her family's surf camp. So her brother owns it and she has worked there for many years. And well, we were doing retreats in Portugal. We did retreats in Portugal for 2 years, three, two, I
Too.
think just two. And we wanted to go back to Portugal. But everything got way more expensive. So it kind of wasn't really a viable option for us anymore. And then Lucia was like, why not do a retreat at my family's camp? And we were like, Spain? Sure. Same kind of vibe, same part of the world, somewhat. And yeah, it's like this old house that's turned into a surf camp. It's all like a stone house out in the countryside. There's not a lot of people around. The surfboards, like sourcing the surfboards is this whole mission that Lila has to go on and fly into this other city, rent a car, drive like 5 hours with a bunch of longboards. A
Because
remote
we
press
don't
thing.
want you riding foam boards.
Yeah.
Right? We don't believe in that. It's like, unless you really want a foam board, and then we can make it happen. But like, these are the lengths that we're going to make sure that amigas have high quality surfboards. We're going to drive the boards from 4 hours away.
Yeah. Or 5 or 6, somewhere
No.
in there. So that's exciting. Spain is a country that has like so much rich culture. The food is amazing. And it's going to be cold. I think, like, you kind of hear Spain and think it'll be moderate, but it's way up in the north, sticks out into the Atlantic. So 5 4s and 4 3s
Oh,
are
really?
recommended. Yep. That's might be the coldest water that we've done retreats in. So we'll see what it actually ends up being. But for all the burly amigas out there, we know there's a lot of them. This will be cool. So Spain's happening. We added 2 more locations in Mexico, in Baja. We're now rolling with 4 locations in Mexico, which is exciting. We're doing a Baja series in October, November. So the first one, well, you're gonna go.
I'm going to go.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Another benefit
I'm
of
jealous.
the
I'm jealous.
homeschooling. I know. Yeah, that one is in, where do we say that it is
It's
in?
in the desert somewhere.
It's in the desert. It's in the desert where there are right point breaks.
Uh-huh. We're going right. Actually, an amiga today was like, I'm back. Like, I came last year and I was kind of like, hey, like, to her friend who she travels with, comes on retreats with. She's like, maybe we should go somewhere where there's rights. But at Serve with Migas, we don't actually have that many locations where you can go right. We have Morocco and then obviously the beach breaks, but there's no other like right points.
And not for lack of trying.
No, trust me, I love going right. I'm down. But yeah, that's what this one we're calling Baja Desert Rights. We added that one and it filled up really fast. So that's exciting. Hopefully it goes well and then we can go back next year. And then the other one in Baja is in northern Baja, just about an hour south of the border. So you're actually going to meet up. We are going to meet up in San Diego. I'm going. I'm super pumped. Meet up in San Diego, cross the border together, and then it's a mini retreat. So it's only 4 days and 3 nights. And yeah, it's inside of a development called Las Gaviotas. Maybe people have heard of it. And it's like super user friendly, close to the border, easy to do, just do like, a 3-day trip. And there's rights there. So that's exciting. And we're excited about that one. A lot of demand also, like people were stoked about the mini retreat. So the idea is we'll do 2 this year and potentially do like a whole run of them next year.
Test it out. See how it goes.
Go eat a lot of tacos.
I mean, if you think about how many more rights we're adding to the calendar this year, it's kind of crazy because we are going in June to the Osa Peninsula.
More rights.
More rights.
Yeah. We like that.
Yeah, we're going.
Both of us together.
We had a little mix up, a little overbooking mix up. I think it was my fault. I'll blame myself, but
Mistakes
happen to all of us.
We have a lot going on, so it's like, there's bound to be mistakes.
Somehow there was a family that thought they had signed up for a retreat and then somehow I thought they canceled. They thought they were still booked. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden one of our family retreats was overbooked, and they're a big family. There are 4 kids and a pair of parents. And so 6 people overbooked is a problem. And I was like, come on, Jackie, we can fit them in, right? The family retreats, the more the merrier. Jackie was like, no, we cannot do that many people. And so it was this big scramble to try to figure out what to do. And like the last thing we wanted to do was tell this family that's been looking forward to their retreat for like over a year that we couldn't accommodate them. And so it prompted us to add a new location. And we're just going to do this one family retreat. But if it goes well, like we might add some all women's retreats across the Gulf. I'm going to go right.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've wanted to do a retreat there for a long time. I love going over there. We go during our retreats here on the boat, and it's just like this part of Costa Rica, it's special. There's a lot of nature. The waves are insane. And yeah, I'm just kind of curious to see how it's going to go. It's another benefit of doing what we do is that we will bring our families on the family retreat. We're going to get to go experience it ourselves and let our kids experience it and join the fun. So, and we do have space. This is one of the few retreats coming up where there are a couple spots. Maybe not by the time this podcast airs,
Yeah,
but, there's still a couple
I
spots.
think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. I feel like there's more. What are we missing? Oh, we're going back to our roots in southern Costa Rica.
Yeah, so the first time we ever came to Southern Costa Rica was in 2014.
Uh-huh. I was pregnant.
Yep.
Like 4 months pregnant, and where it started is I was serving the island in Nicaragua, and there was this, like, super hot, shredding guy. He was, like, kind of shorter, but, like, super fit, like, blonde curly hair, big smile, absolutely ripping, and I was just like, "Oh my god, who is this guy?" And we started chatting a little bit, and he was like, "Oh, my wife and I manage a surf camp in Pavones." And I was like, "Oh my god, I always wanna go to Pavones," because the boyfriend that I had when I was in my 20s, he had been to Pavones, and this was, like, back in the day before Surfline, before there was, like, anywhere to stay really, it was, like, pretty feral, and he had come, like, right after high school, I feel like, and, had spent, like, a month in Pavones, and there wasn't really waves or there wasn't swell, and this was before people knew about all the other spots, like, probably was, like, staying to the cantina with no car, and he was like, "Ah, Pavones sucks. Like, it's really fickle, and if there's no waves, there's nothing to do." And so, even though like I'm a goofy foot that is like into lefts, I had this idea in my head that Pavones wasn't that great. So I had never like I was in Nicaragua like with you and never went to Pavones. But then this guy is like, "Yeah, my wife and I run this place in Pavones," and I told him what I did, and he was like, "You should bring a retreat." And in that era, I think the only travel retreat we had ever done was El Salvador
Yeah, in Rancho Santana.
and southern Nicaragua,
Yeah.
right? Because we hadn't gone to the Philippines yet. No, we must have.
No, we went to the Philippines in 2013, so, yeah. Yeah, it was well, and I think did we go to Puerto Rico before that? Either way, it was, like,
Early
early
days.
days, and, yeah, I remember that Kim, your ex-husband, was interested in coming to Southern Costa Rica because of all the wildlife, and, like, it's gonna be epic. There's gonna be monkeys everywhere, which there are,
Right.
and so,
But
yeah, we came down here.
and I
Sight
remember
unseen.
and I had asked this guy like about the waves, and he's like, "Yeah, there's Pavones and our camp is like, 10 minutes down the road from Pavones, but there's some fun waves in the garden," is what he called it. And I was cuz he's Dutch. And so but I remember this like image of like there's a garden and there's waves there. I was just like, "Oh, okay."
So funny.
Like, what does that even mean? No waves in the garden. All right. And I think that like not having any like experience really with what pavones was, like I don't remember you, like I thought we would be serving pavones with the amigas. I like thought it was like a longboard, like fish, like mushy wave. And then, oh, if the waves aren't good at pavones, we'll surf in the garden.
I
Okay.
don't think I honestly wasn't really thinking. I was just like, yeah, let's go get on a bus for 4 days and go see what happens. And yeah, I remember Holly came down before I did, and I took the bus with my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband, for like 4 days, and we rolled up like late morning to the very end of the road after like 3 days of traveling,
Like the furthest south you can
as
drive in Costa
far
Rica.
as you can get. And it was just so beautiful. It was so glassy, like that extra glassy, and the waves looked perfect for amigas. It was like small and mushy. It wasn't Pavones, it was the garden where we were where we landed. The bus stopped at the garden, and
Oh, you actually took the bus all the way to the end of the
yeah,
road.
well, I feel like maybe the last stretch we were like in the back of a truck. Like we just hitched a
Nice.
ride the very last bit. There was also like this medical emergency happening right in the moment that we arrived. So we like sort of attended to that whole situation. And then Holly comes out of the water. She's like, dude, this is gonna be so easy. Cause it was just like beautiful waves right out front of the spot where we took the ride to was the place where we're staying. And the wave was right out front, and there was like this little deck where you can just like hoop for the amigas on the waves from the place where we stay. And the waves were so cute. And I think coming from Nicaragua, where it's like, that time of year, the waves can be a little poundy in Nika. And here it was like nice and mushy and yeah,
Point breaks
point
versus
breaks.
beach breaks.
But I mean, we weren't even surfing the points. Like we were
Yeah.
just,
But I mean, the wave in the garden
yeah,
is it's
it's kind of a
maybe
point.
more like a reef break.
True.
It's not a beach break.
Yeah, true. Exactly. There was a channel.
There's a channel.
Yeah. And yeah,
So I think we did 2
the
retreats
first year.
where we just surfed in the garden,
Yeah, I think you're
right?
right.
I
Yeah,
don't think
there
we
were
surfed pavones at
and then
all.
we surfed another wave that we do surf at our Jungle Lodge retreats, in Punta Banco now, which some of you guys know. But yeah, we didn't have a ride. Like, there
No,
was, like, nobody that had cars around, and so we didn't go scope out the point breaks around the area at all, and I guess we kinda got lucky because it wasn't too
we
big.
got lucky because it was
Yeah.
small. Because we came, it was, like, in the,
It was
like,
in April.
April, so it
Yeah.
was, like, in the fall
Like,
season,
we
but
finished the Nicaragua series and then came down here.
yeah, so we scored. It was epic.
Yeah.
Everybody loved it. And then we did 2 more retreats, I think in September. Those also went well.
Mhm.
Good weather because September is kind of like
Yeah, which is
we
totally crazy.
once again got lucky.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather, small waves. And then we planned, I think maybe 3 retreats, I want to say,
Mhm. Yeah.
for the following spring,
When shit hit the fan, I think was the 3rd
the
season
3rd
of
season.
retreats
Okay.
at this spot.
And each year, I think we started with 2 and then we did 4 and then maybe
Yeah.
we planned 6.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think it was 2, 3, and then maybe 6.
We added each season, we added, like, a few more because it was sick. We were having an amazing time.
Yeah.
I had bought property, I don't know if you had yet, but I was pregnant again, and then I had my, year and a bit
Well, and
year
this is
old.
kind of like a side note, but I think part of the reason why you wanted to be here was because of Zika.
Oh, you're
Because you
right.
were pregnant, and
You're right, you're right.
if you were pregnant and got Zika, it would have been you would have had a baby with a really small head. So you didn't want to be in Nicaragua where
That's
there's a lot
right.
of mosquitoes.
That's
So
so
were
true.
like, I need to spend my pregnancy in Costa
So
Rica.
let's put more retreats on the schedule.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah. So yeah, so a little bit on the place where we were staying is owned by a bunch of men from the Netherlands.
Mhm.
It is like a
At the time, like our first seasons of doing retreats there were 21 owners.
which is crazy.
Yeah, and over the years, a few of them have passed away. A few of them have sold out. I think now there's maybe 11.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's like a collected, not your normal retreat situation,
yeah,
not your normal resort or hotel. It's like it was like kind of like their own private like surf camp that
yeah.
they like all paid into manage and keep up. But like there's like a little extra dynamic for them because it's not just a business. It's like kind of like their personal like
Shangri-La.
yeah, their
Yeah,
clubhouse basically. They're paying dues. And they also like come and enjoy like a timeshare almost. And so we were like, some of them were stoked we were there, but like not everybody was actually that stoked. Some people just wanted to be their own like private surf club and
because
not
when we're
have
there, they
business.
can't be there.
Right.
Was part of it. So it's like, yeah, some people weren't really that stoked about it.
Well, it's impossible, I'm imagine, to keep like 20 owners all wanting the same thing and happy with the situation. So anyways, yeah, we have these retreats. We're doing a bunch of weeks, and then all of a sudden our luck runs out and there's a pumping swell during the retreat. And we did not know all of the waves at that point. Like we only knew the waves in the garden and Pavones, and that's it. And suddenly the waves in the garden were huge. And we couldn't surf.
Yeah.
And that we had made friends with a local guy who lived right down the road, and he was like acting as our like driver and like kind of a little bit of a guide, and he was just stoked we were there, and super friendly. And he was like, oh, there's this other wave that you guys should bring the amigas to, and it's like a much friendlier wave. It's like another point break and it'll be awesome, we'll go there. And we were like, great. Perfect.
Let's
So
go. Load them up.
there was a lot of
Yeah,
us.
many of us.
Let's say there was at least 10.
Mhm.
10 amigas, probably 4 staff, plus my husband,
Mhm.
plus the kid, my baby, and the
Nanny.
one outside the belly, the one in the belly, the nanny. So there was like a lot of us, like full caravan vibes, like longboard stacked. And we drive down to the other point break and just like all unload. And it is like so crazy to imagine today, like what that would have looked like.
Well, and yeah, keep in mind, like back then, nobody was really surfing this spot.
Some people were.
Some people, but not nearly as much it is now.
It
You
was like
know?
a genuine like secret spot back
Yeah,
then.
and we came.
And then we showed up and we had no idea. And we were just like operating off of like what we had been doing in Nicaragua, where it was like such a like small surf scene. And we would just like bring the whole group out to the same spot. And that was just like seemed totally normal and reasonable in that era, which obviously we're getting to this point of realizing we know that that's not cool. But like
Yeah.
in the era, like we thought it was fine. And we've got this local guy who is our guide who's telling us, yeah, let's do this. So yeah, we marched all the amigas up the point and long colorful longboards and surf leggings and hats and like cameras and like the whole deal. And then we paddled out, and it was small because it was much more protected than the garden waves, but we were a freaking scene. I can only imagine.
Yeah, for sure. And we were frothing. Like,
Yes,
like these waves were sick. And so we're like helping the amigos, but we're also like, holy shit, like this is so epic. So I remember like we were getting our waves too. And yeah, it just, I guess the point is we were a lot less organized than we are today.
yeah,
And we're owning that hardcore.
yeah. Well, and I think just clueless. So like,
Yeah, cocky. Yeah, we were like, we got this. Like, no big deal.
for sure.
Didn't realize like that wasn't cool.
Well, and also, like I said, I think the local guy was
Yeah,
like, "Yeah, here you go."
no worries.
There was no one to be like, "Hey, this is a little bit of a sensitive spot, and like maybe we shouldn't all go,"
Yeah.
and all of that.
I mean, it's funny that like honestly didn't even cross our
I
minds.
know,
You know,
right?
is yeah,
We're kooks.
totally.
So we show up, we surf, we have the best time ever. We go back to the camp, and then I can't remember, was it like the next day or a couple days later? It's like the it's a little bit
Yeah,
hazy
I
because
don't
we're
know.
talking like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
But at some point, the next day or a couple days later, the swell was even bigger. And at that point, I think we had split up. And those of you who have been to the longboard house, we're talking about racetracks and Bonnie's, and it was bigger. So like some of the group was surfing Bonnie's, and I remember I was frothing so hard. Like this is like 100% my fault. It was absolutely pumping. The waves were insane. It was like my dream waves, these beautiful like overhead left point break, like firing waves. And so I was definitely like encouraging a couple of amigas to come with me so that I could go and surf those waves. I was like, come on, you got this. Like, let's go. And there were two amigas that came with me, and one of them was like very experienced, like so totally self-sufficient, like riding a mid-length. And we paddled out together, and she just like went up to the top of the point. And the other amiga was like game, but like not as experienced, and she was on a longboard. And so we like timed our paddle out. This was like actually pumping, and we like paddled out together, and we got out the back, and I was like, again, like overly frothing. Like I was trying so hard to get her a wave because I couldn't get a wave until she had gotten a wave. And so I was like really wanting a wave. And I was like, come on, I'm gonna get you one. Like it's gonna be good. And I'm pregnant. I've got like the baby on the beach, but I'm frothing so hard. And I remember I like kind of push her in, and she just like fumbled the takeoff. Like, and she was capable. It was just like we all fall sometimes, and she was nervous and whatever. She fumbled the takeoff, and this like old salty dog, like expat, like not a local, but like somebody who had been living here for a long time. He was paddling out, and he saw it, and he paddled up to me. He's like, "This is not a beginner break." Like, and I was like, "She's not a beginner." And all of a sudden now she's all freaked out. She's upset. And I'm like, arguing like for her, like full protective mama bear, like got to protect the amiga, like she's not a beginner, she's not a beginner. And he's like, well, it's not for longboards. I'm like, blah 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 blah. And she's like, I don't want to be here. And I was like, okay. And anyway,
you're fine. You got this.
yeah, you got this. And then the guy was just like mouthing off, and I was just like, oh my God. And there was another woman, like an older, again, like foreign woman, like sitting out there. And I kind of like appealed to her for backup. And I was like, can you believe this guy? And she's like, well, he's right. And I was like, oh my God, okay, we got to get out of here. And so then the amiga that had paddled up to the top of the point, she was just on her own. And this other one and I paddled down to Bonnie's and like explained the situation. And then what happened? Then we
And then I think we went home and whatever, shook it off. And
yeah,
then it was later that the owners, whoever was there on site, because obviously they're not all there all the time, got a message, a threat from this guy saying, I'm going to burn your place down if you keep hosting the Amigas.
right. And this was like Thursday before the Saturday that was like Semana Santa, which is like the busiest week of the entire year, probably in Costa Rica. And I know we had 12 because
Mhm.
we had 12 amigas showing up on that Saturday. And this is Thursday. And they basically came to us and they're like, hey, we can't host you next week.
Yeah.
And we were like, what are you talking about? We have 12 amigas. Like they're starting their travels like tomorrow. There's absolutely nowhere else we're going to stay. Like we paid you like in full for this week. Like, yes, we were coming. And they were basically like, no, you can't. And it was really stressful.
Yeah.
Eventually, luckily, they relented and said, okay, like, we're gonna, like, yes, you've already paid us, like, fine, we'll do this week. And then I was like, all right, you got to share with me the email. And I just went into like damage control mode. And like, it actually turned into like a really productive, like positive conversation because instead of being like, fuck you, we're going to do whatever we want, whatever, like, I went in with like my tail between my legs. And I was like, hey, I'm so sorry. Like, we didn't realize, like, let's have a conversation, let's have a dialogue, like, how can we do it differently? And then it turned into like, okay, we need to split up the groups. Duh. Like, it's
Yeah,
crazy that we didn't think about that, but
for
we need to
sure.
split up the groups. Like, we shouldn't bring, even though this particular amiga was not a beginner, like the waves were above her pay grade, and we shouldn't be bringing people out there that need to be pushed into waves. And yeah, it was a real wake up call for us.
Yeah, yeah. And then we got through the end of that season. And then I remember, I think I was like, I left at the end of the season and you were like, we can't do retreats there anymore. And I was like, what do you mean? It's like, what? Like, surely we can remedy this. Like, I was like, I remember thinking, like, we got to find a way to keep doing retreats. And then it was sort of this moment of like, well, maybe, maybe the flow isn't flowing and like doesn't make sense for us to be in this area anymore. At the time, we were both living in Nicaragua. We had good things going on in Nica. We are traveling to other places. And it didn't seem like we were being welcomed by the surf community here. Granted, it's the expat surf community and it was very small, but there were a few people that were not stoked about us being there. And that was new for us. Like, in Nicaragua, people in the water were always stoked about us being there because it's like, you know, surfers, foreigners coming in means work and money. And like, surf tourism can be an amazing thing
And we're
for
bringing
a
girls.
local economy, and a community. It's like vibes. But yeah, anyways, so there was this moment where we're like, okay, maybe Southern Costa Rica isn't it. And then that's when a couple of the locals that we were working with, like the guy who was helping us with the horses and his brother, whose wife worked in the kitchen, and somebody who did the hike for us, like they were like, wait, 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 like we want you guys here. Like we, as the local people of this village, we gain so much from Surf with Amigas, whether that's like tours that we're doing for you or even just like tips from the kitchen ladies. Like the kitchen ladies get a lot more tips when the Amigas are around. And they were even like, come check out our place. Like you could do the retreats in my house. My wife can cook for you. We can do yoga right there, right? And I remember we walked around at one point. We're like, could we do this? Like, is this legit? And then right around that time was when we met Clyde.
Well, we met Beth
Right.
first. I remember this woman, Canadian or maybe American, I don't know. This blonde girl came up to me and she was like, "Hey, I'm a yoga teacher and do you need any yoga teaching for your retreats?" And I was like, "Actually, we don't need a yoga teacher. What we need is a place to house the retreats."
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Oh my gosh, my boyfriend and I are trying to build a place and that's why I need work because we need money. Like we were started to build it, but then we ran out of money and we can't go any further until, we find a way to finish building the place." And I was like, wait, what? Like you have a place in that same area? Oh my God. And went and looked at it. And it was really like some belief that happened because I looked at the space and like they had the foundations and like the walls and the roof, but they needed to buy the beds and to like finish the structures and to, it needed some cash. And I was like, okay, if we give you a deposit now, like basically we'll give you the money for the retreats 6 months from now, if we'll give it to you now, if you can use that money to get the retreat space ready
Mm-hmm.
in 6 months. And it was just like full, like there was no contract.
Yeah.
It was just like, I see that you're like enough of the way along. Like, I believe you can do this, like handshake, like here's a bunch of cash, like make it happen. And they did.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But yeah, there was some hectic moments.
For sure.
The Dutch guys were like, we really don't want this guy to come burn our place down.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have to go.
Right. And so then we were just like, okay, we're over the Dutch guys and
Yeah.
now we're staying at a locally owned place like just down the beach, and that was great for the last few years. Have you been to the Jungle Lodge? Like that has been our home in the southern Costa Rica during the dry season for how many years?
Yeah. Like, I don't know,
7,
7, 8.
something like that.
Yeah.
But no longer.
Yeah, well, we have kept in touch with the Dutch guys. Funny. Well, I live in that village now, and yeah, the things change and evolve, and they actually had some different managers last year that kind of planted the seed of like, why don't you guys come back? We'd love to have you. And so I started spending a little bit more time over there, and I was like, this place is sick. I was like, remembered how much I loved it, and the wave at the garden is so sick. It's just right out front. There's a private waterfall on site. It's definitely like a very nature experience. You are in the jungle. Um, but I love that, and I think it's a really cool way to experience the place, to be fully immersed into the nature of it. So, we put 3 retreats on the schedule for the garden spot. We're calling it Back to Nature, and that's gonna be in January 2027.
Yeah.
We just did a photo shoot there yesterday,
Yes.
which was fun, and we weren't sure. We were like, I wonder, like, what the stat. We did the photo shoot with some of the girls from the team, and I was like wondering what they're gonna think of it. And they were all like, "This place is sick."
Right.
They didn't know the story. They didn't. A lot of them had never even heard all
They've never
that.
been there. I know, it was, like, bringing back memories for
Yeah,
sure of being in that space, like, I remember, Luna, who's now almost 12, and, like, oh, she was, like I have these pictures of her, like, naked as, like, a 4-month-old, like, just putting her little toes in the waterfall and all of this, and so, yeah, it was fun to relive some of that stuff. But, yeah, well, I wasn't sure because it's interesting. I had these memories of, like, some of the rooms being kind of feral and, like, others being nicer and, like, I hadn't seen it in so long, and then when we went there with the staff, we were kinda like, "Oh, is it nice enough for amigas?" Because also we've gotten so much bougier.
yeah.
Like,
Well, I don't know about we.
well, I have gotten bougier than I was back then, but it
Yeah,
was a low, like,
true.
I was real feral
You
back in
were.
the day.
Yeah. I don't think you guys know this, but Holly's probably one of the most feral people I've ever
Well, you're maybe the only one slightly more feral.
met.
I'm more feral, I think.
I'm pretty proud of my feralness.
But both of us have gotten bougier.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
And
And amigas have gotten bougier.
yes,
That is the truth, which is not a bad thing.
I
It's
think it
just
just comes with age a little bit.
yeah,
It's like when you're in your 20s and even early 30s, like you're just down to sleep wherever and it's all good and it's an adventure. And then as you get older and have kids, like I do appreciate like having a little bit of a nicer space.
yeah, for sure.
So yeah, there's a question like, is this going to be too feral for amigas? And when we brought the staff over, they were like, "Oh my god, this is nice! Like, wow,
Yeah,
this is killer!" And I was like, "Really? You think so? Okay, cool." So if you're listening to this, and if you really like air conditioning, or if you identify as somebody that's like on the bougier side of the amiga spectrum, it's probably not for you. But if you're all about, being in nature, like one of the rooms in particular is like super open air.
mhm,
You have a mosquito net, but like there's not 4 walls. There's 3 walls, and then the front wall is like open, and
and the
so
ocean is right there.
you're basically almost in the surf
Yeah,
in your room.
yeah,
The whole place.
you're as close as you can get. So, I mean, I think that that's the trade-off. It's like, if you want to have your little air-conditioned spot tucked away, like, we have that. That's a lot of our offerings, but this is not that, but it is a way to feel really connected to what's going on with the ocean and the surf and the jungle all around you. And yeah, I think it'll be a really special experience.
For sure. And then we'll see what happens. We're gonna do 3, test it out,
Yeah,
see how we go from there.
totally.
And open to feedback. Let us know. Reach out. We have feedback forms, and you can also just like send an email and let us know what you think about all of this.
Yeah, but wow, we've really come a long way with like how we do things. It's just crazy to think about all that time and that story. And we should also mention that that guy that barked us out of the water, he's like, a friend now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he's a homie.
he loves us.
I mean, I think after that, like, and part of it is like Pavones has changed a lot
Mm,
since those days,
for sure.
and we were like, there were other surf camps that operated here before us, for sure. It's not like we were the first ones to do it, but I think that a lot of the people saw us as like, the front runners of the swell of change. And there were people that didn't want that, and I don't blame them at all. Like, I would have, like, been afraid of us too, and, like, were, over us too, especially the way that we came in so hot and kinda cocky, and but I think that we did the right thing is, like, we were very quickly humbled, and, we didn't respond with defensiveness. We were just like, "Oh, okay, alright, we're not doing it right, like,
Like, we're a little too frothy.
how should we do it differently? Like, we want to be a part of this community. We want to fit in. Like, we want to appease and make sure that the locals are stoked, first of all, but we also care about our other neighbors, like, that are expats and have been living here for a long time. And so I, in particular, for sure, went on this, like, especially once I decided that, like, I wanted to live here. I'd, like, bought a house here. My son was born in Costa Rica. I was like, this is where I live. Like, I love Nicaragua, but, like, this is where I see the next chapter of my life being based. Like, I don't want the community to be bummed on me or us. And so I went, like, one by one. And anytime I heard somebody was, like, saying something negative, I, like, made a point to go and meet that person. Because I'm like, this person doesn't actually know me. Like, they see me, they see us, they form these ideas about who we are and what we're doing that aren't actually true. And I believed that if they got to know me, if they got to know us, that they would recognize that we aren't what they are afraid of, or we aren't what they think. And the gnarliest person, like, I went one by one, and the one, not that I'm sure there's still people out there that are like, serve the amigas, like, because that's just humanity. But, like, of the really vocal people, there was this one woman who was out in the water that day that told me that she agreed. She's this German lady, and she's lived here forever, and she owns, like, a little, like, place to stay, and she was super eggy, and, like, I would be in the water and I would see her on the wave, and she's this older woman that I genuinely thought was awesome. I heard that, like, back in the day, like, she was, like, one of the first women that was, like, surfing the point when it was really big and, like, charging, and I'd heard these stories, and I was like, wow, this woman's awesome, and I would see her on a wave, and I would cheer for her. And there was one time at Pilon where she was like, "Don't cheer for me." I was like, "What are you talking about? I think you're amazing." She's like, "It's fake. I see through you. This isn't real." And I just, like, kept it up over the years, and now we are homies. Like, I see her, we chat, like, I still cheer for her, and she accepts my waves of love. And I feel like it was like, yes, that was the last one. But I'm sure there's others.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep working on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a practice and a process, and ultimately, I think we believe in what we're doing. Like, for real, it's just the truth. And there are lots of local people in this area, and hopefully in all the areas where we do retreats, that are, like, stoked about us being here. And no, it's not perfect. It's come a long way, but I believe that our benefits outweigh the negative things about us being here, like, 100%.
Well, yeah, and now there's so many other surf camps coming to town too.
Yeah.
So it's like in the beginning, maybe we were like the first one to come so consistently with so many people. But now it's like, oh my gosh, when I was in Nosara and I was seeing advertisements for like surf trip to Pavones, and yeah, it's all over Instagram. So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yep.
What else?
Um,
We have a surf
we
journal.
have a surf journal. Surf journals are those are fun.
Those are fun.
Yeah, it's a way to kind of, like, integrate the experience more for the amigas and have some prompted reflection moments.
Yeah, we partnered with one of our instructors who is a super talented artist, and she did some really cute graphics for the journal and came up with some fun prompts. And so it's another gift that we are offering. We're going to start at the longboard house and see how it goes. And just like the logistics of getting them to all of our locations might be a little bit challenging, but definitely at in the Costa Rican locations, it's going to be something that we're doing. So that's kind of fun and new.
Surf journal, it's a big update, and lots of, not lots, but quite a few new coaches that are awesome. Some of you guys have probably met some of the new and amazing coaches that are ripping, are tons of fun, and are really, like, awesome coaches. I'm always, like, so stoked about the positive feedback that comes in about the coaching program. That's, like, something that I think we've been focusing on in recent years, of, like, really just dialing in the coaching program, and things are good lately.
Yeah, because in the early days, it was just like, "Oh, you have some time and you know how to surf?
You're a good surfer.
Why didn't you join us?"
You like being feral?
There was, like, no, like, formal process, and now it's a lot.
Yeah, it's legit, and it's really it's fun for us to be able to meet these badass women coming from all over the world to join our team, and
Who have, like, coaching experience, and
yeah,
they know what they're doing.
they're career surf coaches.
Yes,
So they bring a lot of knowledge, and we learn things all the time from them, and it's great.
for sure.
Another big project that we've been working on is redoing our website.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's fine. I think that we talked about this maybe last time or like at some point in the past on the podcast. But we have somebody who's doing our website, and that's a fun creative project that we're sort of in the thick of right now. So keep an eye out for that.
Soon.
Yeah.
We have some work to do on that. I mean, we've talked about upcoming trips, but just in your own personal life, what is something that you're really looking forward to over the next little bit?
Well, we're gonna do some projects at our house. When I first got here to Holly's house, she was showing me some projects that she's been doing. So that's fun. Always kind of like dialing in the spaces where we live. And also I'm really excited about I have two new boards that I'm so pumped about.
Really?
Both shaped by women. I have an urchin. Shout out Christy Carr, shaped me a twin pin. That is my Chavonis magic board. So I'm super pumped for the next Big 12 to be able to surf that.
Have you ridden it yet?
Yeah,
Nice.
I love it. I love it at the point. Other waves, it's good, but it's a magic board for the point, which I've been searching for. So I'm stoked about that. And my new Ashley Lloyd longboard, which is a complete copy of the Ashley Lloyd longboard that I've been surfing for like 15 years now. So it's nice to have a freshie.
Did you go pick that up when you were in California? Oh,
Yeah.
nice. So
Yeah.
you traveled back with both kids and a giant longboard?
I mean, what's like, one more longboard?
At least you didn't have the dog.
Exactly.
It's
You
like,
know,
the longboard's probably easier than the dog to travel
it's a
with.
lot easier.
Jackie has a
Yeah.
giant dog.
It was the crux moment was when we landed in David and I actually packed really light, which was helpful except for the longboard. But we had like all the luggage and the board and my kids and their crap. And of course my son was like, I don't want to carry my backpack. I'm like, my kid's backpack. And like normally, you land and there's people that can like help you and you pay them. And it's like, and I like look around, there's nobody. And I like had all my shit. And I like asked somebody at the airport, I was like, is there somebody here that I can like pay to help me? And the lady was just like, no. I know. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, can I like bring some stuff out and then come back in for the rest? And she was like, no. And I was like, all right, let's do this.
Like a few feet at a time?
Yeah, I know. I just somehow loaded it all up and we survived.
Hectic.
Yeah, that was the crux after like, 2 full days of traveling. Everyone's just totally beat.
Yeah. Gnarly.
Actually, no, and then the crux was when we got to the border and my husband picked us up at the border, but he like did a little errand for my son goes to the local school in Fuente Blanco, did a little errand of picking up all the meat and sodas for like an activity where they're gonna sell meat. So I had a cooler full of meat and all these sodas, and then like bought another big thing of paint, which was another errand for somebody else in the community. He was like doing all these like errands for people because we have the car. And they changed the process at the border where now you have to everything that is even though he had not crossed the border with the car because he took us to the spot where the check-in is for Costa Rica, everything that was in the car had to go through the X-ray machine.
No
So we
way.
had like all of us and all of our stuff and everything.
And all the
And the guy's like, the coolers got to come, the sodas have to come, the beers, the big of paint. It was just like, okay, let's do this.
deep breaths.
Yeah, but anyways, we survived. We're here now.
Epic.
What about you?
I am going to reignite my competitive career. I have not surfed in a surf contest since that time at the Boom. More than 10 years ago. I have not surfed in a surf contest since having children. And my son is now starting to compete in the Circuito Nacional. It's like the Costa Rican like national circuit. And we went to the very first contest in Nosara, and I was just like at the contest like all weekend, like just hanging out. And like part of me was like so relieved that I didn't have to compete, but I had all the emotions. I was like nervous, I was stressed out, and like it was like I was just because like all those I know that feeling, and like I feel like I was more nervous than he was. I was like more stressed than he was, and
It's like, "Chill out, mom."
Yeah, I mean, he was nervous and stressed too, so I was, like, trying to, like, manage my emotions to not, like, make his nervousness worse, but really, we spent, like, the entire weekend hanging out, and I was, like, watching the open women's division, and I was just like, "Dude, I could beat her. I could beat her. Ooh, she rips. I can't beat she I would have to be on my very best day to, like, beat her, like, she's really good." But I don't know, it just, like, it kinda brought back the feeling of, like, it's fun, and I feel like you make friends in a different way, like, hanging out on the beach, like, like, made friends with, like, some of the other parents of the other competitors, and, like, that was cool, but, like, part of me was like, "No, I wanna have my moment in the jersey out there with the friends," and, um yeah, I haven't competed in so long that, like, I feel like there's, like, no pressure, and it would just be purely for fun, which is what it should be all along, but, like, definitely, like, there was a long time where I, like, really cared a lot and, like, would get really mad if I lost and all of that, and so, yeah, there's another contest coming up in Dominical in a few weeks, and my son is surfing in 2 different divisions, and I was like, "You know what? $50, I'm gonna enter too," and
Yeah,
so I'm kind of excited, and one thing that has been good is that it has motivated me to, like, train a little bit and to surf more, and so, like, that has been a benefit because I sometimes struggle with motivation if the waves aren't really good, kind of
yeah,
become a surfing snob, and there's, like, so many other things to do, whether it's, like, house stuff or, like, saving energy to play with the kids or, like, work, and, I kind of neglect my own surfing, and, like, now I'm at this age where if I don't surf and I don't, like, work out, like, I feel like I need to keep doing that, and
yeah,
so it's gonna motivate me to get out there. At the beach break game. Like, even this
yeah,
morning, like, the waves were like I wasn't really sure if it was gonna be very good, and, like, it would've been really easy to just, like, sleep in and chill, and I was like, "No, I got a contest coming up, like, I'm going surfing," and I went surfing, it was so fun.
yeah, 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 I mean, you're never gonna regret going, you know?
I mean, sometimes you do.
Mhm.
I have had moments where I'm like, "You know what? I should have just slept in, like, that would have been nicer for me,"
Yeah,
or, like, "I should have chilled and, like, gotten a little work done, and I would feel so much better about myself," but I do feel like sometimes you regret going
yeah,
surfing, but most of the time not.
yeah.
Anyway,
Right on.
lots of fun exciting things.
Yeah, yeah. Cool.
Well, thanks for listening.
Yep, thanks for the podcast.
Over and out.
Nailed it.